Hello guys, here's Charlie Austen for New York Move Buff, the heart of film in town, and today I'm here to do my review on Dumbo, the new Disney live-action movie trying to bring to life again their classics of the past. I don't know if it really worked, but more of that in a minute. So let's roll the intro first. Before we jump into this review, so don't miss the opportunity to subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you won't be missing on any of our newly posted weekly content, okay? So really just try to give this big of a help for me so then I can keep producing more content and talking about the things that we love so much, like Hollywood movies, the film industry, everything that makes our heartbeat to go faster. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Dumbo, that is directed by Tim Burton. And I know whenever we hear like his name, Tim Burton, so we think like of, for example, the Alice in Wonderland franchise or Sweeney Todd and many other movies that really left us with a very clear mental perspective of the signature that Tim Burton as a filmmaker brings into his movies. And here is not an exception. When we look into the aesthetics of Dumbo, it's really mind-boggling because it's just beautiful. Just the feel, like the first few minutes of the movie, you can feel that, you know, all the colors that were chosen to tell this story and to develop the world into which like Dumbo is gonna be born into was so well thought of. And that's what we would expect from a Tim Burton movie. So am I saying that the movie is good? No, and that's the problem. One of the good things of the movie is also its problem, or it becomes a problem more down the road, but I will explain it like in more depth for you so then you won't get lost in what I'm trying to say. So what happens here is, so there's all this care with the colors, and I think that they're really trying here to reproduce the wonder that people would feel when they go into the circus, you know, that magical kind of place or that magical kind of stage when you see different things. You see humans that they are so hardworking, they train so many hours a day for, you know, during the night, like within 2 hours they can show you the abilities of the human body or the things that they can do, the tricks that they can perform, the numbers and all of that, and that really, you know, steers in us that magical thing, that nostalgia, that family moment that we are lacking even more with each passing day. But that was like a big thing back in the 20s. Like the movie starts on 1919, and that was basically what people they were used to do on the weekends or in the weeknights. That they would go to the circus that was touring the city or the region or the county, and they would have some family quality time. So I think that they try to reproduce that wonderment, and there is also a wonderment because it's the end of the war. 1919 was the year where the First World War ended. So I think that it's a moment where everything is coming back, you know, the wonderment with human being, what the human being can accomplish, and how the arts play a part in all of that. And then we have the children's father coming back from the war and getting to know that, you know, like his wife passed away and has left like a huge space, a huge void, not only in his children's lives, but also in the circus company as well. So I think that it's all very well shown through the colors, through the aesthetics, through the photography of this movie. But the problem here becomes when you notice that has been Tim Burton's formula for the past few movies. He really heavies his hands when it comes to the color, and some people will tell me, but Charlie, that's what Tim Burton does. So he really heavies his hands like on the aesthetics of the movie, because that's how he became notorious, or that's how he became famous. And I understand that, but the thing is, when you only think of it, when you only think of the movie in technical terms, and you don't think, and you don't stop to think that the storytelling part of it is what motives all the other departments to create this world, whether through props or the lighting or photography or whatever it is, like the actors' performances, when you lose sight of that. So what's the point of building like this whole world of techniques and things put into motion to make like the image is very lively, when at the heart, what should be at the heart of all of this is really missing, or it has major flaws in it, that is the storytelling. Because it really happens here in Dumbo. I understand that they had to make some changes because of the times that we're living in, some things that went over people's heads, like back in the day when the Dumbo, the animation classic came out. People, they were not discussing that about racism and this kind of stuff. I understand that I'm not talking about these changes, that they are kind of an update to our modern world and to the things that we want to avoid children to get in touch with, because we want to pass along a more healthful kind of message. I can get that. What I'm saying is, for example, let's talk about the secondary characters, like the artists that they are part of the circus company. So we see that there are some interesting figures there, figures that are not so unknown to us, that these are the kind of characters that we would expect to find in a circus company. So they don't have any plot development, they don't have any character development other than just the stereotypes they are attached to what they perform at the circus. So that's not character development. And then you can say, but Charlie, why would you expect the director to give these characters screen time when they're the secondary ones? Because like I tell you, a movie is much more than just lighting and photography, and you're having like a huge budget that of course Disney gave it to Tim Burton and to his crew. Is much more than that. Everything counts. Every little tiny detail counts. For example, at a certain point in the movie, like the last half of the movie, these characters, they will play a major role that will move the movie into its ending and the resolution of a certain conflict that was created. And we see them aiding the main characters, that it's like the family and the children, that they have a really special relationship with Dumbo and all of that. And then you kind of keep wondering if they're just helping out, and they're like these characters' motives is just that to do something in the movie, because the characters themselves might have, get some life and have realized that they haven't done much of a job so far. So let's help out with this, so maybe we can get some kind of characterization, because if we don't aid the characters here, we are not more than just props or objects that fill up a scene. So we don't know if they're just doing that for that, or they're just helping out the main characters for the sake of helping the story to move along and to get to its end. So it's really depressing, and I don't know if they just did that. They really didn't care to the development of these side characters, because maybe they were belittling, the understanding of children, because we know that this movie was produced thinking like its main audience, it's children, maybe teenagers up to 12 or 13 years old, I don't know. But if they just didn't care enough with these characters because of the audience that they had in mind, this is also not very nice as well. So we don't have any character development for the side ones, and then it really affects the main ones, because I don't think that just the fact that that they were laid off by the villain of the film would be powerful enough for them to doing some craziness like helping the children and like their dad to do something that like technically goes against the law, because they are already at the bottom, right? They lost their job and all of that, and now they're gonna like put themselves in another dire circumstance. But maybe some people can say, oh, but it's like a kind of child movie, so that's how things goes. No, I don't think that. And then the problem is, other than that, like the lack of character development for these side characters, that they are like they're very important as part of the story, because they build more than just the world where Dumbo comes into playing, but they are also part of the relationships that they are kind of making that world more believable. So something else that happens is, like, the first few minutes you have this wonderment, you have like this very warmth like in your heart, because you think, oh, this photography is beautiful. But then after a while, it's so heavily imposed, the colors every single moment, and they try to pass this wonderment just through the colors, just through the aesthetics or the locations. They are heavily CGI'd, that you just lose the interest into believing that world really exists, that world is really a place where this kind of story could develop or could unfold. And then what starts to happen at a certain point is, like, the technical part of the movie is just standing out or coming to the limelight so strong that it starts undermining the already very, very weak plot development or the very poorly written story. And for me, that's a first, at least that I can remember, like in recent years. I have seen many poorly written scripts. I have witnessed many stories, like many films, that they didn't have like a powerful motto or a powerful message, and those films, those productions, landed like on the laps of very successful filmmakers, very hard-working filmmakers, very pro kind of people, that they got what they had. There was not much, and they transformed that through the images, through the visual, in such a journey, in such an interesting thing. So I have seen that. So material that was not powerful enough, that without the techniques that filmmaking gives you, they could transform that story into something else, something otherworldly. But I think that in a long time is the first time when I see like amazing techniques, amazing lighting, amazing aesthetics, being undermined by the poorly written plot development, by the poorly written story. So it's kind of all these flaws in the story start to creeping into the aesthetics aspects of the movie, and you can't concentrate anymore, and then you can really build a relationship or an interaction or a connection with these characters. And I think that this is the problem here with Dumbo, sadly, because it had all that was required to be such a hell of an amazing movie. So this is really the things that bothered me with this movie, and I'm talking from a very technical standpoint, and I think that it's a warning call for Tim Burton, because for a while I have been seeing him just rely on the signature that he has developed, the visual signature, and I think that he's relying way too much on it, and it's kind of blinding him to other important aspects of filmmaking, like the storytelling. And like, if you don't give too much of an attention to the storytelling aspect of the movie, so the performances of your actors might end up being bland as well. You can feel some emotion, but not maybe the intensity that emotion would be calling for, because you didn't recognize that for a lack of interest in caring for the plot or for the story as a whole. So I think that it's a warning call for Tim Burton. I don't know if he's too comfortable to care more about his movies. I think that there are some movies, like the second Alice in Wonderland, that was through the mirror glass or something like that. The aesthetics were also a very big play, like they are in all of his movies. but I think that the message there was good, was well conveyed. Like the script was way better than this one that he got with Dumbo, and that's why we couldn't realize as much as in this one how he has a problem with addressing the needs of the script, the needs of the screenplay, and how to balance, the needs of the screenplay and match it perfectly with the visuals. But here it's so freaking clear that there is a huge problem that is not being addressed by Tim Burton, and it really saddens me because I really look up to him when it comes to the visuals, to mise-en-scene, and to everything that makes a movie such an interesting ride to accompany and to be part of. So I don't know. I think that children, they will relate to this movie. They don't have much of a critical thinking, right? And I'm not saying that you cannot relate to Dumbo on the grounds of, oh, he's a cute elephant and he's different. I'm not saying that, but this is having sympathy for a character. It's not the same as having empathy for the character. So I can say that I felt sympathy for Dumbo. I understand where he's coming from. He lost his mother. He's bullied for a while, for a chunk of the movie. I can relate to these experiences. But can I really feel it for a long time throughout the whole screening time? Like walking on the character's shoes? No, I don't think that Dumbo accomplishes the latter one. And because of all the above, because of all the aforementioned up to this point in this review. So this was my review and my critique of Dumbo. So if you liked it, just hit the notification bell for being warned of new content every single week. Also hit the like button, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'm Charlie Austen for New York Movie Buff. Thanks for watching. See you very soon. Bye.